Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight, I'd like to discuss expression magic and how to perform it. Okay. Last time, I discussed a little bit about expression magic and also the effects of dream magic. Kind of compared the two as being the top two forms of magic out there, but also kind of broke it down a little bit to tell you exactly what they are and the differences between them. So today I'm going to discuss how to actually perform expression magic and how to utilize it within your own rituals. Okay. Now, before you do any form of expression magic, you really have to discern what type of magic you're looking to do. What is your end goal? Okay. For an example, if you are looking to do a love spell or a lust spell, I would utilize or recommend utilizing, I should say, a red candle. Okay, red or pink would normally do it because red signifies passion, desire, whereas pink is love. Okay, considered that, I guess you could say, that lovey-dovey type stuff. Much like a white candle would classify being purity. Okay, the pure intention of your ritual. Therefore, white would represent that aspect. Whereas your intent would be to find a, say, for example, a one night stand. Perhaps, say, for an example, finding your soulmate, whatever. That's if you actually believe in soulmates. Okay. First of all, a pink candle would be perfect for love spells. Okay. Whereas if you're just looking for that one night stand, you got to go with the red candle. Okay. Because that does represent anger, it represents passion, desire. Okay. So what you would do is on your altar table or your altar itself, depending if you have a table, perhaps you've got a room set aside, just specifically for rituals in general. Everybody has a different style and a different type of altars, so you really have to discern what yours is. Now, you also got to take into consideration that some people don't have an altar room. Some people don't even have an altar space. So, in the case that you don't have an altar space, utilize a desk. Okay, perhaps some kind of stand like a dresser. Okay, and just kind of sit back on your bed and just focus your intent on that candle. Okay, the color of the candle comes down to your specific need, be it hatred, be it lust, be it love, be it ascension, you know, spiritual, whatever. It comes down to your specific need. Okay. And lately, I've been getting these requests to do love spells for people. So today, I'm going to discuss a little bit about how to do a lust spell compared to, um, how should I say this, a love spell. Okay, through expression magic. Okay, so as I said, find that location of where you want to do your ritual. Okay, if you're outdoors, utilize a grove, a section of woods, perhaps someplace off the beaten trail where there's some rocks. Set up a pentagram. Or perhaps just simply draw sigils on the four corners. The four quarters or the four watchtowers, depending on which philosophy you follow, be it witchcraft, shamanism, black magic, Satanism, whatever. Okay, break it down. Okay, and utilize that specific target. Okay, once you've called on the four corners or the four watchtowers, the four elementals, whatever you decide to do, you can pick on the 5 points of a pentagram. Okay, Now, the pentagram is five different pillars that create a much larger viewpoint, okay, of spiritual or high witchcraft type magic. All right. So in this case, we're going to utilize a pink candle for love. Okay. So what you would do is if you're outdoors doing this in nature, nature is a perfect balance because a lot of people love nature. It's peaceful, it's pure. It's not like being in a city where you got people interfering with your life, noises like ambulances, police cars, the ruckus of chitter chatter, okay? Or just simply building, vehicles going by, honking their horns. Nature is purity, okay? And the best image of purity would be the Greek god Pan with his nymphs. The depictions of Pan playing the flute while the nymphs or nymphos sit there and frolic around, like a bonfire or something. Perfect example right there. All right. So in this case, doing an outside ritual would be perfect in a wilderness. So again, set up your four corners, call on the five elementals, place the candle dead center. Okay. The dead center of that pentagram is the spiritual nexus. Okay. And all you have to do is sit back and focus your intent. Okay. For an example, what's that old Wiccan expression? With perfect love and perfect trust. Okay. Charmed. Prime example. Or you can go with the saying from The Craft. That movie with what's her name there? Nev Campbell, Robin Tunney, Veruza Bulk. Cool actresses, and it was a good movie. I give it that. But it's a good saying. It's like a mantra. A mantra is something that is very, very good. You can repeat it over and over again. But utilize it in some form of a rhyme. Much like a lot of women, especially mothers, are looking for somebody that will be a good father to their child. Perhaps, a perfect lover for a future family. Okay, same exact thing. So a lot of today's youth buy into that whole charmed aspect or that whole craft type movie aspect where everything goes by the forces of good. Okay, so therefore, utilize it in some form of a nursery rhyme or perhaps even a small little poem, something that you can recite and remember, something that you can repeat over and over again. Okay, and just picture your desire, your end game. For an example, if I was looking for, let's say for an example, if I was looking for a hot woman, let's say a size two, perhaps a C cup, whatever. Just throwing some ideas out here. All right. Personally to me, size, looks really don't matter to me. But uh, just for the sake of it, let's say, for an example, size three, C cup, let's say brunette, real wild child, perhaps a rebel, type appearance. Okay, tattoos, perhaps a fellow Satanist or, say, for an example, career black magician. Get that image in your mind. When you light the candle, let it burn for a few minutes before you begin. Let the wax start melting. Focus your mind on it. And then start doing the mantra. Start doing that little nursery rhyme. It helps if you have a photo of the individual, perhaps somebody that you desire. Like, say, for example, a lot of people have a former high school crush, someone that you dated in high school that you really, want back in your life. Okay. This would be a good thing to have, especially if you have a photo. That way you can bring up all those emotions, all those feelings, and just apply it to that photo. Now, if you're really good and you have a great imagination, you can picture that individual as clear as day in your mind. Focus all that intent, all that emotion, all that feeling, that desire, all that need, that passion through the candle flame, sending it out into the ether. And once it's out there and you feel exhausted, you feel like you've completed your intended ritual, end it. Don't banish it, don't eliminate it, just snuff out the candle and just walk away. Pack up your stuff, head home. You don't have to sit there and banish anything. You don't have to sit there and do a reversal of a cleansing or whatever, because the intent of expression magic is quite simple. It is putting your desire out there for the universe to work with. But you got to keep in mind there are two aspects to this. On the one hand, you have what is called the universal. And on the other hand, you have the multiverse. Okay? The multiverse is a lot different from the universal. Okay? But then you've also got what is called the solar system aspects, which is dealing with the 7 planets, the 7 known planets of old. Not the 9 planets that we know today, but the old, all the way up until Saturn, from the sun, the moon, the earth, all the way up into Saturn. Okay? The 7 archangels, the 7 colors, the um, seven's a prime example of numerology. These things are very, very good. Let's see. Exactly. That is exactly what a prime example of what expression magic is. And a lot of people will sit there and say, well, there's no such thing as expression magic. The truth is, it is out there, and there is a form of magic called expression magic. This is because of the fact that it deals with many different names. Expression magic deals with your thoughts, it deals with your emotions. It is tied into so many different things that it creates a very powerful connection. Okay, today we know it in Satanism as lust rituals. In paganism and Wiccan, it is known as love rituals. Okay, so you got different names for different types of rituals within different systems, different styles and forms of traditions. And that's a very prime example right there of what expression magic is. You're not only picturing it, but you're envisioning the scent, the smell. It's like, say, for an example, if you get around somebody, you smell their perfume, their cologne. It's a very powerful sense. The five senses are very, very powerful to an individual, especially the subconscious attributes of your own psyche. It is a reminder of that individual. That's it's kind of like being in a long-term relationship and then one day that individual is gone. And all of a sudden you're walking through a department store and you catch that scent. And it's like, wow, it's like everything just rushes back in like a flood. That's exactly what it is. Okay. Now, let's say, for an example, you're doing it as a one night stand. Okay. But let's say we're doing this indoors. Let's say, for an example, you don't have an altar room, you don't have an altar table. As I said, use a nightstand, utilize a candle, um, utilize some form of drawing. Okay. Same aspect applies, just on a smaller scale. Okay. In this case, you can actually use chalk. You can use a marker, some kind of marker that you can wash off the walls. Okay. Chalk is something that I would recommend as long as you don't leave it there for, say, weeks on end or months on end or whatever. Then kind of becomes a permanent aspect on your wall. And yes, I'm speaking by personal experience on that. I heard about, the chalk is a good thing to have, so I utilized it. And in short-term cases, it is very, very good, especially if it's for a one-time ritual. Okay. But if you're going to use something for a multiple types of magic, multiple different types of rituals, okay, be it destruction rituals, be it um, invocations and evocations of personal sigils of demons and angels, okay, then you really would rather go with some form of marker, okay, perhaps some paper that you can tape to the wall. All right. And a coffee table is something that's very, very good as well because it's small enough that you can utilize it by placing a skull on it, perhaps, which is a spiritual nexus. It's a doorway. A candle, perhaps your incense burner. Okay. Something that will help you focus and visualize your objective. Okay. And then all you have to do is just sit there. I would recommend while you light the candle, once you've lit the candle, it's starting to burn down. Sit there and kind of meditate for a few minutes. Concentrate on your breathing. Kind of just let everything else wash away. And then while you're doing this, visualize your objective. Visualize what you're doing, what type of individual you'd like. Okay. In this case, let's say, for an example, like I said, you're looking for a one night stand. How would you do it? Okay. Well, let's say, for an example, you're going to a nightclub. Okay. One of the best things that I would recommend to you is to call upon some form of spirit to guide you. Okay. Some type of spirit that will walk with you and kind of open those doors. Okay. If some people don't have that natural charisma to get somebody talking to them, like say a single guy looking for a date. Okay. Some guys just don't have that luck. Some guys just don't have that, what it takes, that confidence, that persona, okay, to actually engage a woman, to get her to go home with them. Okay. And what it normally comes down to is a woman within the first 10 seconds has already made up her mind that you're not the one for her. Okay. Whereas in other times, if you're more confident, you dress the part, you know what you're looking for, you know what you want, you're smooth talking, it opens up a lot of doors. Now, on the other hand, for you ladies, all you have to do is just dress the part. Your natural charms does wonders. Okay. And a lot of this comes down to witchcraft. Okay. They used to call it bewitchment. Okay. Whereas today it's just basically witchcraft in general, seduction, the art of seduction. It's all psychological these days. But in the old days, it was much more simplistic. A woman just simply, all she has to do is put on a short skirt, put her hair up or put them down, put on some makeup, bam. Just flirt with a guy and have him eaten out of their hands. A man, on the other hand, has to actually work for it. They have to use charisma. They have to use charm. They have to use humor. They have to actually play a part with confidence and commitment. It's a whole nother ball game for a guy. Okay. True. Okay. But let's say, for an example, you got your outfit picked up. Let's say, for example, you're dressing up in a suit, but more of a class B aspect for you guys. Okay. Let's say, for an example, you're wearing dress shoes, you're wearing um, your suit pants. Okay. Let's say, for an example, instead of wearing a jacket or a dress shirt, you're wearing, let's say, for an example, let's go with one of those short sleeved, what do they call those type of clothes? I can't think of the name of it offhand, but it's one of those sleeve type cotton shirts that a lot of businesses today, especially the fast food chains like coffee shops, have you wear, McDonald's, Burger King, that type of thing. Those type shirts. Now, let's say, for an example, you put like a sweater over it. Okay. This here, for this specific look, and if you don't pull it off, you can kind of look a little geeky. Okay. Especially to a woman, it's going to turn a woman off. But if you utilize charm, manners, charisma, maybe a little mysteriousness, not too much because you don't want to turn them off and, kind of creep them out, but enough to get that desire going. Perhaps listen to them instead of asking them to, spread their legs for you. Perhaps instead look at them and kind of just say, "Hey, how you doing? What are you looking for in life? What do you desire? You know, and earnestly listen to what they have to say. Okay, and kind of just let things flow naturally. You don't want to push too hard, but you also don't want to become needy. Now, for a woman, it's a whole nother conflict because for them, it's more of the fact that they know what they're looking for. They know what they want, but a lot of women will flirt with a dangerous guy, but go home with a nice guy. So you want to be a little more kind of 50-50. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to be too far one way or too far the other. You want to be in complete balance. But if you apply one of these personas, make sure that you follow through with it 100%. Okay. But with women, it's just like I said, it's more the fact that they dress the part, they know what they want. They use their feminine wiles, perfumes, makeup, perhaps bat their eyes. It doesn't take much for a woman to get a guy to follow over them, namely because of the fact that it comes more easily for a woman than it would for a guy. So in this case, I would recommend going with someone like, let's say, Asmodai from the Book of Tobit. Okay, Asmodeus was one of those kind of beings that he liked a woman so much that he literally took out seven of the eight brothers. And the eighth brother was very, very smart and went to a higher angel to get that, to get him out of the way. Okay, to prevent him from having anything to do with his relationship. Okay. So demonology does play a part, angelology plays a part, but if you're really not into higher forms of magic such as that, really play the low magics. In this case, expression magic. Okay, you're literally using herbs. You're using the alchemical change. Okay, for an example, if you have roses, okay, take the rosebud petals, okay, of, say, for an example, a red rose or a pink rose, okay, mix them in with things that are smelly, something that is soothing, such as, let's go with lavender. Let's go with let's go rosemary, perhaps vanilla, something that is sweet but not too sweet. Mix them together. Put them in a grist bag and take it with you. Keep it in your pocket. Utilize clothing, perhaps some form of scent, something that's going to attract that individual to you. But also, when you're sitting there meditating while doing this, you want to apply that feeling, that instinct. Put all your emotion of your intent into that. Okay. As DX here has put it right here, for destruction and curses, I watch a few YouTube videos that make me really angry. immediately after that, okay, that is a form of expression magic that I'm talking about here. In this case, watching one of these videos makes this person angry. Why? Why does it bring out that particular emotion? And what is it about that video that creates that hostility? Okay. You want to make sure that when you do expression magic, that it brings out the desired effects. Therefore, you have to get into the right frame of mind. Okay. And that's why for generations, various different magical systems have candle colored systems. Okay. Colors such as green deal with nature, deals with money, the commonwealth. Okay. Black, the abyss, the ether, you know, destruction rituals. Okay. Blue, enlightenment, cleansing. Okay. White, purity. Okay. Whereas yellow brings warmth, desire. Orange is something else, and all the way down the line. So you want to know the candle colors. You want to get the candle or at least the image of what you're going for. Put it into your ritual. Bring out that emotion. If you're looking for love, utilize it. Utilize that feeling. Perhaps um, do the opposite. This is what I'm feeling. If you're lonely, if you're desperate, okay, put all that pain, all that coldness, all that loneliness into the ritual. Utilize your tears, okay. By utilizing your tears, you are literally creating that connection, that psychic link to what you're doing. Okay, you're putting it in play. In this case, this is where you are, but your desire visually, emotionally, you want to be loved. Put that feeling into your ritual, and I guarantee it will go a long way. But let's say, for an example, since DX here brought up destruction rituals and curses, a black candle utilized with a photo. Okay. For an example, the Three Nights of Hell hex. You can find this on Google. Very, very powerful curse. It really does work. Trust me, I know I've actually tested it out myself. Even the Lucifer's Touch works. Okay. The War Water works. Okay. I've trusted these and I've utilized them. So I know they work. I don't know who exactly came up with them, but that's why you do it yourself so you know what works and what doesn't. All right. Let's see. Got a couple things here. Yes, it is. It is one of the most powerful types of magic out there. Now, that I can understand, um, Rosaline. Being a lot of guys today are very childish. My son's mother just found this out. Since me, she has gone for at least three other guys, and all three guys have let her down. Okay. But she's also gone back to her Baptist roots as well. But that's on her. That's her choice on her religious and philosophical, path. But she has found this out firsthand. You know, um, when we needed money, for an example, I put together a Griscris bag. She had it on her. I had it on her. And within 1 week of carrying that constantly, bam, because it was the ill intent. It was the intent of gaining financial gain. Okay. And in her case, she's wanting to be loved. She's wanting to be desired. Okay. But she's not grasping the situation of what she's looking for. And so when you put that on there, you're very picky on the type of men that you date. okay, or that you go after. This is something that you really do need to be careful of because of the fact that there's not all men are adult enough, number one, to take care of a family or to take care of a woman. On the other hand, they may not be in the right area of their life to even be able to be an adult enough to be with that woman. Okay. For an example, there's an old expression throughout the apostolics. To have a home, you have to have a job. Okay. Because without the job, you're not going to have the funds to get the home. And you have to have the home to get to the woman. And you have to have the woman to have the family. Okay. So it is that thought process of setting things up the way you need to be. Okay. It's really not about being hurt. It's more the fact that if you don't put yourself out there, you're not going to find what you're looking for. But at the same time, you have to know what you're looking for and what you truly want. Okay. Do you deserve to be loved? Do you deserve to be hated? Okay. And one of the main things that I think really does need to be put into this video is the self-made curse. Okay. And the reason I say the self-made curse is because of the fact that a lot of people, at least in my own experience, curse themselves and they don't even realize it. For an example, when it comes to guys asking women out, some guys get turned down just about by every woman. Okay? Every woman turns some guys down. And they begin psychologically to think that they are unworthy of being with a woman, that they are unworthy of being loved. Okay? And therefore, even though they continue to ask women out, that thought, that dread is still there whispering in the background. Okay? And this is something that women don't understand today. And yes, it is a form of expression magic because instead of bringing it outward to attract these desired outcomes, you're basically doing the reverse, the flip, and pushing it away. Okay. Again, it comes down to an outlook, it comes down to appearance. Okay. So in this case, it would be the fact that because you're so afraid of being hurt, because you've been hurt so many times in your past, you want to be careful that it doesn't become a self made curse. Okay. Because in that case, then you brought it on yourself, and then you have to realize, okay, this I've done to myself. Now I've got to cleanse myself. I've got to cleanse my home, my aura, the whole shigan, the whole kit and caboodle. But a lot of people don't have this knowledge. So again, you do have to be careful about doing this. And trust me, I am the first one to tell you I have actually cursed myself a couple of times. It sucks big time when you do. I was one of those kind of guys in high school that could not even get a date. Okay. It took me many years of sinking into complete darkness to literally turn to things that most people would consider ludicrous. I'm talking getting into fights just for the sheer pleasure of it. I turned to the dark side of things where I literally tore marriages apart. I was told that God was the only way. I was told that I was on the path to hell and the whole king of boodle. So somewhere along the line, it was like a switch got flipped, and I started utilizing expression magic, and I tore apart families. I tore apart um, relationships, even marriages. I got married women to commit adultery. I did whatever I had to do. I figured that God put them together. I'm going to destroy them. Plain and simple. So, this is what I mean by expression magic. If you get into that form of thought that you are cursed, that you are damned, if that because I've been hurt, I don't want to get hurt, you're going to end up in fear. Okay? Or you're going to end up going down a very desolate, dark road. Okay? And you are right. It is very, very powerful. It is one of the most powerful forms of magic out there. Outside of dream magic, expression magic is the only other form of magic that I would classify as the top two forms of magic. Okay? So, the best thing to do is when you do any form of magic, especially with the utilization of any form of emotion, meditation is key. Focus, discipline. Get your thoughts in order. Calm yourself. Reflect on what you're about to do. Get into that frame of mind. Bring up those emotions. Perhaps get some incense that will trigger that form of stimuli. A photo, if it's destruction rituals. Perhaps some form of clothing, maybe an article. Something that is going to stimulate that emotion and then apply it when you're ready. Start utilizing that within a ritual before you do anything. And in this case, before you go out to a nightclub, put yourself in that frame of mind. I'm worthy. I can do this. I got this going on. I deserve to be loved. And you know what? It works. Because once you get into that frame of mind, once you get into that thought form, and you start expressing what it is. I've gone in, and before I go any further, I do want to point this out. I've gone into the altar room before where I have a set game plan on what I wanted to do, how I wanted to do it. And you're going to find out also that just because you have a set game plan of what you're looking for and what you want to do, doesn't mean that the gods, the spirits, the demons, the jinn, the demigods don't have, or even the Fae themselves don't have another plan for you. Okay? Because in my case, and I will tell you this quite frankly, for years, I've gone into my altar room just to do what I needed to do, but I never gave them the time of day to speak or to work in my life until I opened that door and it just started clicking. And every so often, when I go into my altar room to do any form of magic or any form of ritual, be it an invocation or an evocation, perhaps just a simple little spell, opening those gateways saying, hey, I'm still here. I'm still willing to work with you, doesn't mean that it's going to happen. I went in one day for a destruction ritual, and it turned out to be the complete opposite. It turned into a cleansing ritual. So again, expression magic can flip like that. Okay? So with that said, any form of magic that you do, make sure you're in the right frame of mind. Make sure that you know what your end game is going to be. Make sure that you know what you're looking for and what you're willing to go and do for it. All right? So until next time, my next video is going to be on how to protect yourself through protection and reversal magics, especially when dealing with expression magic or dream magic or any form of ritual pertaining to this type of magic. All right? So for right now, this seems like a good place to end this video. I do want to thank all of you for participating. And some of you have actually come up with some very good things that are actually very, very true and hold dear to this type of magic. All right. Now, you can always get in contact with me through here or on Facebook. I'm on both. And I will always make myself available to you to answer any questions. And I hope it's been educational and enlightening. And until next time, this Dark Sorcerer is out.